if you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, you know what I'm saying, what ain't never been.
And watch this, Bun. I'm gonna say this too. Out there think this cool, but it ain't cool. Me and this man ain't never been naked in no room together with no.
Joe to see a Puffy on the, and you know, they been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big nigga.
Yeah. Pulling no orgy type, doing none of that.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again. Okay. I mean, it's all good.
Every day, we hear new allegations about Jay-Z, and word on the street is that it's just a matter of time before he gets the Diddy treat. So now is the perfect time to talk about how two industry heavyweights, DMX and PMC, tried to sound the alarm about Jay-Z years ago. But it seems that anyone who's ever tried to expose the truth either ended up dead or was written off as crazy. It seems like every couple of years, people bring up the question, is Jay-Z involved in some shady boo? DMX, who had beef with Jay for years, was on record multiple times throwing major shade at Ho and talked about how the industry changed when Jay took over as president of Def Jam and how artists started falling off, or worse, when they didn't play along by his rules, and then when DMX died from a suspected OD. Jay-Z's Lyor Cohen made some nasty remarks at X's burial, prompting fans to question how Jay really felt about X, and let's not forget Pimp C, who died in 2007 under highly odd circumstances. Many feel his death wasn't as natural as we've been led to believe. In fact, before he went, Pimp C allegedly warned people about the darker side of the industry, and about Jay-Z specifically right before his death. Pimp was getting bold and talking about how people in power were doing more than just making music. They were allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes to silence those who challenged them. And many fans have speculated that Pimp knew too much, and that his death may have been a direct result of that. So did DMX and Pimp know something about Jay-Z? That a lot of the love I had for wanting to be a part of industry is not there anymore. I don't even associate myself with the industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an industry artist. I'm an artist in the industry. The rabbit hole around Diddy keeps getting deeper and messier by the day, but Diddy isn't the only one under fire right now. His longtime friend Jay-Z is also catching some serious smoke. And here's the wild part. If you've been paying attention, this isn't even new word on the street, is that DMX and Pimp C were some of the first to peep game and call out both Diddy and Jay-Z for their shady moves in the industry. But guess what? They didn't live long enough to tell the whole story, and now people are starting to wonder if X and Pimp C paid the ultimate price for seeing through the facade and trying to speak out. There's this interview with X that recently resurfaced on social media where he talked about how Diddy grapes his artists. Now some fans have taken DMX's use of the RW as a metaphor for how Diddy's been shortcoming his artists, like not giving them the money or credit they deserve, but others are straight up convinced that X wasn't speaking in metaphors at all, and meant that literally Lock got signed, even though I bought the Lockburs, they got signed, they were a safer group, Pop signed them, it was a blessing and the curse, cause they were happy about getting signed first, and they were on the Benjamin, and was going, but then he made him jiggy, and put him in suits, and made them write lyrics for him, and took all that pubble, like damn. I'm glad keep that we went soon as they got signed. D was like, yo, if you like the locks like X's, like big dog, those are the PS, you look. And then in another interview, X talked about how Diddy originally rejected him for a deal at Bad Boy, but once did he heard what Def Jam was offering, he switched up real quick, practically begging DMX to sign with him instead. But here's where things get interesting. Rumor has it that DMX wasn't feeling D's energy because he heard that some shady things had gone down behind the scenes of Bad Boy. Maybe 3 weeks after I got signed up, Jay, he yo, I'll lace your pockets, I'll double they gave you and lace your pockets. I'm like, no, I'm cool now, let's get into the whole DMX and Jay-Z drama, because this was simmering under the surface for years before X left us. And while Jay did show respect publicly when X passed, there's always been this feeling in the streets that X never fully trusted him. After X's passing, Jay-Z went on LeBron James' Show The Shop, talking about how despite their rivalry, it was all love between them. He painted this picture of DMX as an insanely competitive guy, and he kind of laughed off the whole beef thing. in the building because I boycotted the F. There was a competitive thing, but it was big love. He was so competitive with me that I never met a human being more competitive with me, not even my big brother. But here's what Jay conveniently left out, according to DMX himself. It was actually Jay who was playing dirty back in 2004 when Jay-Z took over as president of Def Jam. That's when things went left between them. See, DM had been holding it down for DJam. Jay-Z allegedly tried to sabotage the release of DMX's 6th album, Year of the Dog, again, pulling strings to block it from getting the same love and support as his previous projects, and X's fans have been saying for an it now that Jay saw X as competition and was trying to keep him from taking over. The game, what happened was, like I said, I had the crazy track record, Def Jam, everything was good, I go to do the 6th album, and somebody, when he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo dog, and Nam just run to the building like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video, what happened, HHN, and we don't know what you mean you don't know, HHL, no, HAU, how do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? According to X, all this drama kicked off because Jay-Z switched up his plans about retiring from the rap game. Jay wasn't ready to hang it up just yet, and if he was going to make a comeback, he needed to clear out the competition. And that meant getting rid of anyone who might stand in his way. Okay, I see what's really good, you trying to eliminate the competition, cause at first you retire, HHN, then get me off the label, now you back rapping again, okay, everything is fine. This was the moment DMX realized Jay-Z was ready to step on anybody to protect his own interests, and that's when X decided to leave DJam for good. But here's the thing, there's actually a lot more to why DMX had serious trust issues with Jay, and it all ties back to Jay-Z's connections with some shady high-ups in the industry. X, on the other hand, wasn't afraid to call out the dark side of the industry, elites, and he constantly pointed out how label heads and executives we go back many years. It's been precisely a few years since I've been here. But it's just like I saw them. It's just like I saw you like 2 weeks ago. Exa. Nothing ever changes, dude, that's why I prefer genuine people. When you're real, you don't have to worry about changing, you don't have to worry about backing up strange the next time you see him, or anything else. It'll always be the same thing every time you see me. What I respect about you is that you keep your passion, you keep your emotion. Well, at this stage of the game, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, that's what's going to get me where I need to be, how I feel about it, and I'm not going to let a mother take it from me. You can also see a lot of his attitude in his X's track. The industry where he raps, if you don't have a strong mind, the industry will break you down. Don't give a F about you, but the industry couldn't make a dime without you. The game is man, and if you want to rap, sing, or whatever, don't become a part of the game. Listen to a song I called The Industry, and that pretty much explains what you're saying. The industry isn't the same as it used to be. But it's not only CX who accused Jay-Z of playing industry games and putting his own friends and business colleagues under the bus to get ahead. One of the most talked about cases is with Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller. Dame didn't hold back going public with claims that Jay betrayed him when he started getting close to some shady bigwigs in the music industry, like Cohen, and allegedly Lyor played a major role in driving a wedge between Dame and Jay. Lyor has faced a ton of accusations over the years, including locking artists into those exploitative 360 deals and being labeled a culture vulture. Dame Dash even called him out for using a divide-and-conquer tactic to pit black artists and moguls against each other. In fact, word on the street is that Lyor gave Jay-Z the idea to mess with X's 6th album, but here's where it gets wild. Back in 2018, when Lyor hit up the Breakfast Club, he started discussing the substance crisis and how sad he felt about DMX's struggles. But when Charlemagne pressed him on why he keeps signing artists to push that kind of lifestyle, Lyor basic.
One of the biggest artists you ever had was had a real bad DMX.
I'm so sad. DMX, our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to, I can't give up on people.
You don't think that's hypocritical though? You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
Come
money.
on, Lyor. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you. I won't be complicit.
But hold up, it gets even wilder when DMX passed away. Leia went way overboard and said some crazy disrespectful things at X's funeral. A send-off for DMX took place in Brooklyn on April 25, 2021, and L was supposed to be there, but he couldn't even bother to show up in person. Instead, he sent a recorded message where he started off trying to sound respectful, saying DMX was a good dude. But then, out of nowhere, he went off the rails, calling DMX a gremlin and implying that his.
So the race against time was that we all know X is a gremlin and reckless and looking for a wall to crash into. X, if you listen to X, if you see X, this is his death is no surprise. If you listen to and you watched who and what X was.
Now we all know X had his struggles with narcotics, but to air all that out at the man's funeral is a whole other level of disrespect, and if Jay-Z looked up to Lyor as his so-called mentor, it makes sense why DMX never trusted Jay from the start. And you know who else never trusted Jay? Southern legend Pimps. Just like DMX, Pimp C wasn't afraid to call out the shady stuff going down in the industry. There's even talk that his beef with Jay over the big Pimpin' track had something to do with his suspicious death, and people are still connecting the dots on how deep the drama really went. So UGK linked up with Jay-Z for the iconic 2000 hits Big Pimpin', and if you were around back then you know that song was everywhere. It peaked at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went platinum, becoming one of the biggest tracks of that era. It was a massive crossover success that pushed both UGK and Jay-Z to new heights, but behind the scenes things weren't as smooth as that Finn product made it seem. Turns out Pimp and Jay had some real tension going on. Pimp C wasn't the type to jump on any track just for the sake of clout. He had standards, and word on the street is that he wasn't feeling Jay's energy at first, especially because of Jay's past to beef with Tupac. You already know how deep the loyalty Tupac runs, especially in the South and West. So when Jay and Pac had their issues, Pimp wasn't about to just look the other way. According to Greg Taylor, who managed UGK at the time, there was a lot of back and forth behind the scenes. Dame was pushing hard to make this collab happen, even offering UGK a $1 million check to jump on the track. But Pimpy wasn't impressed by the money. Taylor said that when he presented the offer to Pimp, he advised that instead of accepting the $1 million, they donate the money to Tupac's mother.
And so I called him instantly because I knew y'all niggas at the house.
Right.
I was like, yo, I'm excited. Got $1 million. This is it. Rockefeller is the shit. Hey, there's this I called Pimp and these niggas fight. So I calmed them down. And then once Pimp locked in, it was like, wait a minute, Rockefeller. Ain't that where Jay-Z at? I was like, yeah. And I didn't get the connection. I was like, he was like, tell him to take that check over to Tupac mama and give it to him for stealing all Tupac shit. And I'm like, what?
I put him on that Pac life, boy. he went, once I let him hear that Tupac, he went on his mission for me.
What Pimp didn't realize was that Jay had already joined the call, silently listening in on the entire conversation. Every word, every slick comment Pimp made was heard, even the ones directed right at Jay without him knowing. Jay sat there quietly, absorbing each insult and snide remark as Pimp tossed them out, thinking he was safe to say whatever he pleased. Pimp was completely unaware that the very person he was ridiculing was right there, tuned in, catching every bit of the conversation. Jay didn't make a sound, staying in stealth mode as Pimp's voice filled the airwaves. With every passing second, Pimp grew bolder, talking as if there were no consequences, believing Jay would never hear his true thoughts. The slick comments flew fast, layered with subtle digs and open mockery. It wasn't just business, it was personal now, and Pimp was letting it all out. But what Pimp didn't understand was that Jay had learned more in those few minutes of eavesdropping than Pimp had likely ever intended to reveal. Jay wasn't just hearing the words, he was catching the tone, the disrespect, and the underlying betrayal in every sentence. The whole time, Jay stayed quiet, not giving away the fact that he was there, listening. By the time Pimp was done, Jay had a clear picture of the situation. He knew exactly where he stood and how little respect Pimp actually had for him. But the tables were about to turn because now Jay had the upper hand. Armed with this new knowledge, Jay was ready to confront Pimp. And when he did, Pimp wouldn't even know what hit him.
He heard him say that, yo?
Yeah, Jay heard him. He heard him. Because I had to jump up and apologize for this nigga to clean that shit up quick. Because I was like, I didn't realize he was in the room. So when I seen Hov there, I was like, oh. And so I told him he had to come down and go see them and go talk to mom and go to lunch with, go to dinner with them and sit down and do it the right way, because that's just how Pimp did. If you didn't sit down and eat dinner with him and his mama, he ain't gonna break bread with you. That was just the game. Like, that's how he was raised. He had studied music. It was different, man. He knew music from the Conservatory of Music of Art. He had studied from an orchestra standpoint. His mom had invested in his career. So to be who he was, so by the time people seen him, it was the counterculture of discovering hip hop and rap down there. And they were like a country version of Run DMC, him and Bun.
Great artists.
Or the
artists.
new Ghetto Boys. It was like Jay Prince had them as the new Ghetto Boys. That's what they were. And luckily, the nigga moved to Atlanta. We was able to get him with Short, and Short just put the game down, and the rest was history.
Right.
So that caused a ruckus, because when they missed the first two Jay-Z albums because of it. And the next time around, I knew not to call Pimp because him and Jazzy was beefing, and them Master P was beefing. I was like, he's beefing with everybody.
Pimpy eventually agreed to hop on Big Pimpin', but let's keep it real, he and Jay were never tight like that. The tension was very real, and Bun B even admitted it took some serious reverse psychology to get Pimps to consider working with Jay. And here's the wildest part. Despite the track blowing up and becoming a massive hit, PMC wasn't at all impressed. While the rest of the world was hyping it up, he didn't see it as anything special.
Paid to be on Big Pimpin'. We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think Pimp would have accepted a Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it.
Right.
And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that sense. There was a lot of mutual respect, but Hov and I were always close. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a feature. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, it was really just about, like, we worked very hard to get where we are, and we're successful now for being purely who we have always said we were. Riding Dirty, most critically acclaimed album we ever released, gold album, not one music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point and to possibly in his mind throw it all away, because this dude want to pay you some money to do a verse on a beat that you would never rap to, you know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot, and it took a lot to kind of bring him back around to the idea of being a part of it, to the point where I just like reverse psychology, like, do it then. Like, don't even worry about it. You ain't gonna do it. I'm just telling you, you ain't gonna do it, you don't wanna do it. You know what I'm saying? All right, Pee-wee, I'm gonna do it, man. I mean, he was glad it worked out, but Big Pimpin' was not like in his top 10 UG Pimp songs. Like,
He didn't even want to do another one.